In this video, we're going to be talking about what is a variable annuity. So variable annuities are sort of complex products that were invented for a specific purpose, but have sort of grown in popularity, mainly due to the fact that they're often pursued by a lot of financial advisors just because they do generate high fees and high commissions. That being said, they can be the right tool in the right circumstances, but it helps to kind of know what you're working with to get an idea of how you can use this. So variable annuity is one of the few investment products that has some guarantees baked in. So most investments, as I'm sure you've heard, your financial advisor say, like, this mutual fund, past performance is no guarantee of future returns, anything like that, because most financial advisors, especially when it comes to investments, cannot offer any guarantees, whereas a variable annuity is part insurance product, part investment. So it sort of walks that boundary between an investment and insurance product. So therefore, they can have guarantees with it. So how it works is, let's say that you start out and you have, we'll say, $100,000. So say you start, and part of my handwriting, this is terrible, but let's say you start with $100,000. So then what happens is, throughout your life and your career, maybe you make some more contributions, but whether or not you make more contributions, within the variable annuity, you can invest in things like just normal investments, such as stocks, bonds, etc., in what are called like sub accounts within the annuity. So we can do some stocks. So we can invest in some bonds. Again, sorry for my handwriting. It is actually really challenging writing with a mouse. So we write some bonds. All right. And then, so within that, your portfolio will grow. And let's say over the course of your career, it grows to 500K. Well, then at the end of this point, eventually you're going to want an income source. And then whenever you decide to annuitize the annuity, that basically just means you decide to take an income from it. They'll usually offer a guaranteed percent return or a guaranteed cash flow per month. So let's say, as it rises, say this ends up being $2,000 a month. So basically, at that point, the annuity is going to say, all right, based on your value today, we're going to guarantee $2,000 a month for the rest of your life. And they may add some inflation protections in there or other things to just kind of protect your investment. But overall, what they're doing is they're going to guarantee you some sort of income source. So the nice thing about that is you're getting a guaranteed source of income. So if you're a very conservative investor, this could be a very good option, especially as you near retirement, to have a fixed income source to replace your paycheck. So this is a really good way to get that. You are going to sacrifice potentially some on growth. You're going to potentially sacrifice some on just fees because they are high fees, but what you'll gain and that you lose in fees, you'll gain in security, just because the insurance company is essentially taking that burden of risk once they start giving you that paycheck and guarantee that income. That being said, you want to make sure that the insurance company can afford to continue to pay that out for the rest of your life. Otherwise, you could be a lost cause. So that's essentially how a variable annuity works. So this portfolio all along the way, though, can go up and can go down in value. So it can go up, can go down, and all the way in between. So it works like just a normal investment in that standpoint. So the only guarantees come from when you decide to annuitize. So again, works like just a normal investment, but just has some extra layers of protection on there. And something I didn't mention is annuities are also tax deferred, meaning that similar to like an IRA or 401k, you put money in, you don't pay taxes on that until you take money out when you're getting this income. So this is when the taxes start coming. So in this growth period over here, now it's just getting to be a jumbled mess, but in the growth area over here, you have no taxes. So this just gets passed on to when ultimately you're taking the taxes out on the 500K that you get in income as it goes to you each year. So another benefit of the annuity is that it is tax deferred. So in a nutshell, that's how it works. So part insurance, part investment, but allows you to kind of get the best of both worlds, But downside is you do have to pay for it. They do tend to be fairly expensive, and you may not have the best investment choices within that annuity. But like any investment, there's pros and cons to each side. So just ultimately, you have to make sure that is the right investment type for you. And if you're already in an annuity and you're wanting to get out of one, an easy way or easy consideration is you can move it into other types of annuities. You can move it into an IRA at some point. There's a lot of different things you can do with it. The caveat to it is because the insurance company is sort of expecting that money to be in there for a while, they may have surrender penalties and things like that where you can't move it for a certain amount of time. So before you make any moves with it, just make sure it's something that you have done your due diligence to make sure you're going to be able to move it without any penalties.